Riksha dynasty, as well as Duryodhana, Arjuna, and others. I will go to text number 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Mitrayuhu Cha Divodasa Mitrayuscha Divodasa চ্যবনः तत्सुतः नृपा च्यवनस्तत्सुतो नृपा सुदासः सहदेवः अथ सुदासः सहदेवोऽथ सोमकः जन्तुजन्मकृत् सोमको जन्तुजन्मकृत् श्रीशुक उवाच मित्रायुश्च दिवोदासात् च्यवनस्तत्सुतो नृपा सुदासः सहदेवोऽथ सोमको जन्तुजन्मकृत् श्रीशुक उवाच मित्रायुश्च दिवोदासा च्यवनस्तत्सुतो नृपा सुदासः सहदेवोऽथ सोमको जन्तुजन्मकृत् Shri Shuka Uvacha Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Mitrayuhu Mitrayu Cha and Divodasa was born from Divodasa. চ্যবনः চ্যvana Tatsutaha the son of Mitrayu. Nripa O king. Sudasaha Sudasa Sahadevaha Sahadeva Atha thereafter Somakaha Somaka Jantu Janmakrit the father of Jantu. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shukadev Goswami said, O king, the son of Divodasa was Mitrayu, and from Mitrayu came 4 sons named চ্যবনা, Sudasa, Sahadeva, and Somaka. Somaka was the father of Jantu. Can please repeat the translation after me? Shukadev Goswami said, O king, the son of Divodasa was Mitrayu, and from Mitrayu came 4 sons named চ্যবনা, Sudasa, Sahadeva, and Somaka. Somaka was the father of Jantu. I will read the upcoming texts also. Text 2. I will read myself. You can later on go through the story this chapter summary by Prabhupada. It's a little long summary, so I had skipped it. It's तस्य पुत्रशतं तेषां यवीयान् पृषतः सुतः स तस्माद् द्रुपदो जज्ञे सर्वसम्पत्समन्वितः. Somaka had 100 sons. So having 100 sons is a very common thing in those days. Earlier I said 1 dozen, 2 dozen, but looks like it is 10 dozens. 9 dozens and 10 dozen children. So Somaka had 100 sons, of whom the youngest was Prishata. From Prishata was born King Drupada, who was opulent in all supremacy. You see, as yugas pass, we can observe how everything keeps reducing. Srila Shukadeva Goswami describes about this point in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam, where he says in Kali Yuga, everything is very much reduced. As yuga passes from one on to the other, all the material opulences keep reducing. Life reduces, opulence reduces, height of the person, strength of the person, intelligence of the person, memory of the person, analytical skills of the person, happiness of the person, number of children, everything you can see deteriorating. Everything deteriorating. Satyuga people had 1 lakh years. Treta Yuga people had tens of thousands of years. Dwapara Yuga, some few hundreds to maximum few thousand years. In Kali Yuga, maximum 100 years and it's coming down. It will go up to the point of 20 years. 20 years means you will become great grandfather. I'm not joking. You can actually see it has already happened from 1 lakh years where people were living to 9,000 years to 800, 900 years to 40, 50 years now. And slowly the lifespan will come down. As yugas pass, these things keep deteriorating. So what is the criteria? The criteria is punya karma versus papa karma. The more people become impious, irreligious, godless, all these natural assets and opulences are taken away. Very simple logic. This much it doesn't strike the common man or even the most intelligent man of Kali Yuga. It doesn't strike. Why? That is also an aspect of karma. Karma does not allow you to access this knowledge, appreciate this knowledge, understand this knowledge. Because if you understand, then without being pious, you are given access to all opulence, all enjoyment. How is it possible? So, access denied. This much if you know, even in Kali Yuga, we can be happy. Even materially, I'm not even saying spiritually. If you become Krishna conscious, that's a super excellent state of living in this world. By perfectly aligning our life in line with Krishna's direction, Krishna's satisfaction, then you'll be the most happiest person. Then doesn't make any difference whether it's Satyuga or Kali Yuga. Doesn't make difference. But otherwise, a lot of difficulties are there. See, people are having difficulty to even bear one child today. You'll be surprised to know. Here there are 100 sons. It has come to two children, one child. Today even that they are having difficulty to conceive. Why? This state of affairs. We leave it to the judgment of the people to think about. We have one child is great difficult. So many couples, married people, very sadly are childless. They are not able to bear child. Interestingly, they are going to many temples. Either scientifically they go to medical doctor, nothing is happening. They go to temples also, nothing is happening. They are doing vratas, nothing is happening. So many parents are, not parents, sorry, couples are childless. So very sad. Somaka had 100 sons, of whom the youngest was Prishata. From Prishata was born King Drupada, who was opulent in all supremacy. See Drupada, He was the father of Mother Draupadi. So, such a great devotee of Krishna. So, it is described here, Sarva Sampat Samanvita. See, he had access to Sarva Sampat, who was opulent in all supremacy. He could enjoy unlimitedly material opulence because he was a devotee. Text 3. Drupada Draupadi Tasya Drishtadyumnadaya Sutaha Drishtadyumna Drishtaketur Bharmya Panchala Ka Ime. From Maharaja Drupada, Draupadi was born. Maharaja Drupada also had many sons, between Draupadi's sisters, headed by Drishtadyumna. From Drishtadyumna came a son named Drishtaketu. All these personalities are known as descendants of Bharmyashva or as the dynasty of Panchala. These kings and names are mentioned in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. You see, first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita describes these kings. Drishtaketush Chekitanaha Kashirajascha Viryaman Purjit Kunti Bodhascha Saibjascha Narapungavaha. Drishtadimno Viratascha Satyakischa Parajitaha. Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharataha, like the description said in the first chapter. Hmm? Describing Sarva Eva Maharataha, all the sons of Draupadi. Saubhadro Draupadeya, and the sons of Subhadra, they're all Maharathis. Of course, here the sons of Draupadi are being referred. Drishtadyumna, Drishtaketu, and Draupadi's brothers, headed by Drishtadyumna and others. They're all Maharathis, very powerful fighters. Yojamidha suto hyanya vrikshasam samvaranasthatha tapatyam suryakanyayam kurukshetra pati kuruhu parikshi sudhanurjafnur nishadascha kuro suta suhotro bhut sudanushas chavanotha tatakriti. Another son of Ajamidha was known as Riksha. This Ajamidha, they are all coming from the dynasty of Bharat Maharaj and all coming from the Moon dynasty. From Riksha came a son named Samvarana, and from Samvarana, through the womb of his wife Tapati, the daughter of the sun god, came Kuru, the king of Kurukshetra. See, Kuru Vamsha. It's all the Pandavas, Kauravas, they belong to Kuru Vamsha. And Kuru was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. See, the sun god and the moon god family got tied up through this Kuru. Through the mother of Kuru. The Chandra Vamsha and the Surya Vamsha got tied up with a familial bonding. Samvarana and Tapati, they gave birth to Kuru. So that's the union of the Surya and Chandra Vamsha. And this Kuru later on became the king of Kurukshetra. Today we have that, where the Mahabharata battle happened. See, like that you can track all these histories. Now, why all these details are being discussed here? It's very important. You can, because today, all the place of Kurukshetra, the Mahabharata battle, or the Ramayana, all these things are declared as mythology in the modern history by modern historians. But Ramayana or Mahabharata or Bhagavatam, with all these minutest of details, with every single king without a break, till up to Chandragupta Maurya, you will see the list being given. King Ashoka, King Chandragupta. Thereby bringing validation of the existence of all these places and those episodes which took place in those days. See, every minute detail is being given. How can somebody, imagine to such minute detail, even if it was a speculation or what is called as wild speculation? How can somebody go into minute details of he is the king, the next king, the next king, how many children, how many daughters, how many sons, which kingdom he ruled, which era he was? And then further you go in Chaitanya Charitamrita, apart from the persons and kings given in Bhagavatam, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you go, Prabhupada will give the street name, railway station, which bus you have to catch, and walk some few hundred meters, catch another train, and then get down in this station, and then the next station will come. You will be shocked to know, because when I first read initially as a young devotee, I was wondering why all these details are written. This king, that king, that king, that king, that king, and then you know this train, that train, this station, that station, and then you have to catch a bus, and there is no proper road. All those details properly. That means it gives a very strong historical reference, and uh, it's a kind of archaeological reference, geological reference. If you go and track the maps of those days, you will actually find all those things to be true. If you have the road maps today, Google Maps might have changed because cities have expanded and this and that. But then if you go to the old maps, you go to the village maps. That's why your property tracking also, if you see, you require a village map. The name in those days may be different, some grama, some village and all. Today it may be in the modern name, your own land. But in those days it may be with some other reference. So it gives authentication of all these points. So Shukadeva Goswami is not a mental speculator. Whatever is heard from Veda Vyas, he is narrating verbatim without changes. So that brings in authority, authentication, and genuinity of the data being provided in Srimad Bhagavatam. Hmm. So another son of Ajamida, yeah, sorry. So uh, from Samvarana and Tapati, the daughter of sun god, came Kuru, the king of Kurukshetra. Kuru had four sons: Parikshi, Sudhanu, Janu, and Nishada. From Sudhanu, Suhotra was born. From Suhotra, Chavana. From Chavana, Kriti was born. वसुस्तस्योपरि तस्योपरिचरो परिचरो बृहद्रता मुखास्ततः कुशाम्भा मत्स्य प्रत्यग्रा छेदिपाद्याश्च छेदिपा. The son of Kriti was Uparichara Vasu, and among his sons headed by Brihadrata were Kushamba, Matsya, Pratyagra, and Chedipa. All the sons of Uparichara Vasu became rulers of the Chedi state. Text 7. Brihadratas Kushagro Bhud Rishabastasya Tatsuta Jagne Satyahitopatyam Pushpavams Tatsuto Jahu. From Brihadrata, Kushagra was born. From Kushagra, Rishabha, and from Rishabha, Satyahita. The son of Satyahita was Pushpavan. The son of Pushpavan was Jahu. अन्यस्याम् अपि भार्यायां शकले द्वे बृहद्रथात् ये मात्रा बहिर् उत्सृष्टे जरया चाभिसन्धिते जीवजीवेति क्रीडन्त्या जरासन्धो भवत्सुतः. Through the womb of another wife, Brihadratha begot two halves of a son. When the mother saw those two halves, she rejected them. But later a she-demon named Jara playfully joined them and said, "Come to life, come to life." Thus the son named Jarasandha was born. You see, so many mystical details are explained in the Bhagavatam. How Jarasandha was born under peculiar circumstances. He was born in two parts. And he was joined. Sandha, Sandha means to join. Jara, a demon by name, Jara joined this boy, this child, who was born in two separated parts. Therefore, he became known as Jarasandha. And that too she did it playfully. Imagine playfully somebody can join two parts and give life. अतस्त सह देवो भूत सोमापीर्यच्युताश्रवा परीक्षिर अनपत्यो भूत सुरथो नाम जानवा. From Jarasandha came a son named Sahadeva, from Sahadeva Somapi, and from Somapi Shrutashrava. The son of Kuru called Parikshi had no sons, but the son of Kuru called Janu had a son named Suratha. Tato viduratastasmat sarvabhaumastato bhavat jayasenastattanayo radhikoto yuta yutayubhut. From Surata came a son named Viduratha, from whom Sarvabhauma was born. From Sarvabhauma came Jayasena, from Jayasena Radhika, and from Radhika Ayutayu. ततश्चाक्रोधनस्तस्माद् देवतिथिर् अमुष्य च रिक्षस्तस्य दिलीपो भूत् प्रतीपस्तस्य चात्मजः. From Ayutayu came a son named Akrodhana, and his son was Devatithi. The son of Devatithi was Riksha, the son of Riksha was Dilipa, and the son of Dilipa was Pratipa. देवापि शान्तनुस्तस्य बालिका इति चात्मजा पितृराज्यं परित्यज्य देवापिस्तु वनं गतः. So, Pratipa had three sons, namely Devapi, Shantanu and Balika. Devapi Shantanustasya Balika iti cha Atmaja. So, Atmaja, the sons of Pratibha were Devapi, Shantanu and Bhalika. See the Shantanu Maharaj. Now we can see the Kuru Vamsha as we all understand. The famous king Shantanu was the father of Bhishmadeva. Pitrarajyam Parityajya Devapistu Vanam Gataha. Devapistu Vanam Gataha. Devapi, the eldest brother of the three, of whom Shantanu was the middle brother. So Devapi tu Vanam Gataha, he went to forest. Pitrarajyam Parityajya, by giving up his father's kingdom. Actually, he was supposed to become the king after Pratipa, but then he didn't take up the ruling. He gave up, he went to the forest. Abhavat, therefore, Chantanu Raja Pran Mahabhisha Samgitaha. Shantanu Raja, therefore, Shantanu, the second brother, became the king. Pran Mahabhisha Samgritaha. It is well understood, well known, quite known, Samgritaha. Pran, in his previous life, Mahabhisha, he was known as Mahabhisha. See, the reference is not only to the father, to the village, to the town. Sometimes we have earlier names and all, father, town, village. Reference to the earlier life also. That person is this person. Other there could be multiple names, you see. That's why Krishna is called. What is Krishna called? Krishna is not Krishna. There could be many Krishnas in Mysore. That is not the Krishna we are worshipping here in the temple. It is Yashoda Nandana Krishna whom we are worshipping. You see, Devaki Nandana Krishna whom we are worshipping. Radhika Ramana Krishna whom we are worshipping. See the reference? So like that here you can see how our Vedas, our Sanskrit, our Vedic life is so precise, so beautiful, so interesting. His previous life reference is given. The son Shantanu, who in his previous birth was known as Mahabhisha. But why the difference was given? Because in his previous life he had a specific trait and he continued it even as Shantanu. Therefore it is referred. What is that trait? Let's explain. Pran yam yam karabhyam sprishati jeernam yavvanam eti saha. This was the special trait which he carried in his next janma also. What is that? Yam yam karabhyam sprishati. Sprishati means to touch. Yam yam means whoever. Karabhyam, whoever he touched with his hand. Anyone and everyone. Whoever he touched with his hand, what will happen? Jeernam yavvanam eti saha. They would regain their youthfulness. See? They would become young. Whoever he touched, they would become young. Abhavat Shantanu Raja. Therefore, he is called Shantanu. because by his touching, anybody will become young. Therefore, he came to be known as Shantanu. The specific name as Shantanu. Hmm. So Shantanu, who in his previous birth was known as Mahabhisha, had the ability to transform anyone from old age to youth simply by touching that person with his hands. Texts 14 and 15. Shanti mapnoti chaiva griyam karmanatena shantanu sama. Okay, so that's what is mentioned here. Shanti mapnoti chaiva griyam cha eva agriyam. Shanti mapnoti. Shanti means uh, he was able to award youthfulness for sense gratification to all his citizens. Apnoti, they would attain, they would get. Hmm. Ah. Eva agriyam, simply by karmana tena, the touch of his hand. And therefore, tena, because of this, Shantanu, he is known as Shantanu. Then what happened? Samadvadasha tadrajye navavarsha yada vibuhu. Samadvadasha, for the number of years equivalent to 12. Sama equivalent to Dvadasha, 12. Tad Rajye, in Shantanu's kingdom. Navavarsha Yada Vibhuhu. Vibhuhu means the great. But here it refers to Indradeva. Because the reference here is referring to Vavarsha, rains. So therefore the word Vibhuhu is used referring to Indradeva. So Indradeva did not shower rains for 12 years in his kingdom after he became the king. Why? That's described. Shantanu Brahmanair Ukta. Therefore, he consulted the Brahmanas. Shantanu Brahmanair Uktaha. He consulted the Brahmanas and Uktaha, and the Brahmanas advised. Uktaha said, advised. The Brahmanas were very sharp and they had foresight. They could foresee, or even from expert astronomical calculations, very quickly they could study and immediately tell the reason of the anomalies in the kingdom. You see? And they would get all of these advices free of cost. The state would get the best advice and the best political advice, administrative advice, strategic advice free of cost. You see, today the ministers are paid so much money. The government bureaucrats, politicians paid hefty sums of money. But in the Vedic times, the king would get the best, brilliant, strategic, confidential advices free of cost. The Brahmanas would not charge. They would not depend on anyone except the Lord. That is their strength. Therefore, they were blessed with all these opulences, special intelligence, foreseeing, reading mind, so many things. So the Brahmanas, understanding the situation, very quickly they came back to Shantanu, and then they said, Parivetayam agrabhuk. This was their analysis. See, what is that? Pariveta was the problem. What is Pariveta? That is why there are no rains. Parivetayam agrabhuk. This was the problem. So what is that problem? Pariveta means to usurp or to enjoy the property of the elder brother if illegally. The very word usurp means that only anyway. To usurp the property of the elder brother. Now, here Devapi, he went to the forest, no doubt, but without his permission, he became the king. Who? Shantanu Maharaj. That's called Pariveta. Therefore, because of the sin committed by this king, The people in his kingdom were suffering no rains for 12 years. See, this is the reaction. If the king does a sin, all his praja will suffer the reaction. Similarly, the king does a great act, all his praja will also be blessed. This is the rule. This is the universal rule. Pariveta agrabuk. So because he usurped his brother's kingdom without informing him, he became the king. Therefore, the devatas withheld all the rains. No rains, no grains. No grains, no life. Rajyam, therefore they advised to the king. Rajyam dehi agrajayushu, O king. Rajyam dehi. Dehi means to give up. Rajyam, give up this king to agraja, to your elder brother. Please go find out your brother. Give back this kingdom to him. Return this kingdom to him. Why? Putra Rashtra Vivriddhaye. For the sake of, I'm sorry, Pura Rashtra Vivriddhaye. For the sake of Pura and Rashtra. For the sake of your own kingdom and home. Vivriddhaye. For the sake of upliftment, for the sake of enhancement, for the sake of prosperity. Vivriddhaye. Vardhana. No? Vivardhana. Vivriddhaye. In Sanskrit, it's all these words are connected, you see. So Vivriddhaya means to expand, to enhance, to increase, to elevate. So Purarashtra Vivriddhaye, that means for the elevation of your kingdom and home, you should return the kingdom to him. So Prabhupada translates. Because the king was able to make everyone happy for sense gratification, primarily Agriyam, primarily by the touch of his hand, his name was Shantanu. Once when there was no rainfall in the kingdom for 12 years, and the king consulted his learned Brahminical advisors, they said, "You are faulty for enjoying the property of your elder brother. For the elevation of your kingdom and home, you should return the kingdom to him." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Purport. One cannot enjoy sovereignty or perform an Agnihotra Yajna in the presence of one's elder brother, or else one becomes a usurper known as Pariveta. Thus ends the Bhaktivinoda purport and translations to Canto 9, Chapter 22, texts 1 to 15. नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री कृष्ण बलराम गोमिताय की जय प्रभुपाद की जय. So coming to today's verse of discussion. So the central part of this verse is talking about how one cannot enjoy the property belonging to one's elder brother. Or you take a principle out of this, whoever is the due owner of a certain property, the other person cannot touch. And forget usurping. Usurping means illegally enjoying the property. Just like encroachment, we hear very commonly today. It's a very serious sin. He will not be allowed to enjoy usurped property. Maybe in this world, in the Kali Yuga, maybe the other person might be an encroacher, maybe an aggressor, and enjoying your property, but actually he will not be able to enjoy. He will not be allowed to enjoy. He is called Pariveta, and he will suffer miserably for this sin. You see here, a practical example is being quoted. Because of the king's mistake, whole kingdom suffered. Of course, eventually we'll see Shantanu Maharaj goes to return his kingdom to his brother, but his brother does not accept the kingdom. So he comes back from the forest, and then again he is reinstated as the king the second time. After that, you will see in the upcoming verses, there were sufficient rains. You see how the legal case is cleared. That is why. See, so long it's a litigated thing, nobody can enjoy the property, right? The litigation is over, you're allowed to enjoy, right? Same thing here also. It was litigated. The Indra didn't send rains. How can you enjoy the kingdom with its opulences? Just like they will seal the house, right? Sometimes it becomes a police case, it becomes a criminal case, legal case. They will seize the house. Then you cannot enter any room inside that house. And there may be gold, there may be silver, there may be your car. Everything, the gate is sealed. You will not enjoy. So like that, the earth is sealed. No rains, no grains, no life is possible. You have to take a course correction. Until then, the seal will not be broken. There will be no government release order. Sometimes we see so many petrol bunks here, all a half state, constructed half state, right? Because illegally constructed, no license from the, possibly from the even petrol association, and also from the petroleum ministry, and also probably from the state law, from the revenue department. Maybe the land was illegally acquired, maybe it was a litigated land. Therefore, the corporation will stop the construction in between. Even though you have managed to do some kind of construction, sometimes even the building will be complete, but the CC will not be given, called completion certificate, and still you cannot occupy. And before that, they would have collected all your money also. So the person, was sinful in constructing a building without proper license, and the person who paid also became party to that, victim of that illegal property. So you might have paid lakhs or crores, your money is stuck there. All these things are effects of karma. So karma is a big chain reaction. Who all get connected and pulled in, you will not even get a clue. Yet it will be perfectly done. When you get the completion certificate from the government, from the corporation, from the urban development authority, you are allowed to enjoy the property. Otherwise not. See, so these are very serious things. What is described in the Shastra, Pariveta. So that is why it is said in the Bhagavatam, Sukam Aindriyakam Daitya Deha Yogena Dehinam Sarvatra Labhyate Dhaivat Yata Dukkam Ayatnataha. Prahlad Maharaj says that the amount of happiness and suffering is prefixed for a person as per his karma, his past deeds. That is the term used is Deha Yoga. When you get a certain body, the amount of happiness and distress is fixed for that particular body. How much you are due, it is fixed. You cannot increase or decrease or make any alterations or amendments. Not possible. You may think you are making a lot of amendments and a lot of, just like, people think that I worked hard. I had put in a lot of efforts. I went to this course, this tutorial, studied a lot of things, put in a lot of efforts in the past 5 years, past 10 years, past 20 years, and have brought up to this level. Nothing. Not at all. Deha yogena dehinam. Prahlad Maharaj is saying it is predestined. And you are made to work for the destiny. You will be pushed towards the destiny. Whether it is suffering or happiness. Otherwise, sometimes we also think, past 5 years I have invested, but diwala. Whole company has gone to drains. All the money has gone. Why? All the investment is gone. Sometimes we invest crores of rupees. Everything is gone. So, what happened to all your work then? All your intelligence, all your strategies? This is strategic thinking. 7 successful things. What is that? Huh? No, 7 points of formula. There'll be a successful person, suppose a crorepati, and they'll do a case study of that crorepati. A billionaire, a multi-millionaire, they'll do a case study. 7 things which work for him. You do 70 things also, 700 things, 7 lakh things, still it doesn't work for you. You go all around the planet 100 times, it will not work for you. Why? Your karma will not allow you to touch the success. Both way. If you do it without doing anything, forget 7 things. Fellow will be the most crudest fellow. He may be a foolish person. Suddenly opulence will fall to his hand. Suddenly he'll, from the court it will come, Pitrarjita, and he'll become a crorepati. Fellow has done nothing. So we can actually observe all these things happening. So Deha Yogene Dehinam. Then somebody may say, oh, no, then I'll sleep. Anyway, it will come to you. It will not come. Karma will force you to work to reach the destiny. Similarly, if a karma is to lose it, karma will make you sleep also. So jao beta, so jao. Aur thoda so jao. So karma will make you sleep. Alasya. Karma will see that you will not reach the destination. So these are not ordinary things. Universal laws are working very vigilantly. So, Narada Muni also said, see, such great authorities are speaking, we cannot take these things lightly. Just like an income tax officer is talking a law, a GST officer is talking, quoting the sections. You take them lightly, you can take them lightly. Wait for the notice. Wait for the notice. That's all. They'll not say anything. Wait for the notice to come. That's all. So we take Prahlad Maharaj lightly, we take Narada Muni lightly, no problem. Wait for the notice from Durga. The report will go. Just like, they have to submit a report. This is like the income tax officer came, property tax officer came to your house, you just neglected him, and then you packed and sent him off. So he'll send a what is called as confidential report. There's discussed in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, in Raghunath Das Goswami's story. So they'll send a confidential report to the government. Then the government will take the appropriate action. So the report will go to Durga Devi. She will come. Ajao bacha. Ajao beta. He'll come. Yes. It happened in my own case. When I was in Mangalore Akshaya Patra. So when I was overseeing the operations there, when I newly went there, 2006, when I left Mysore from here, 2006 when I went there, in my very first month, there was one employee. So you cannot keep it in the unit only here. So then he would take the key to his, as though it is his motorbike. So then I said, how can you take this? Then I asked others, oh Prabhuji, ये जमाना से चल रहा है, अरे वो कैसे चलेगा? हम उसको मौका नहीं देगा. I will not give that opportunity, I said. I will not allow that, I said. Prabhuji, anyway it is coming. No, the next day morning for the operations, it is coming back. So it's okay. So nothing doing. It is his property or what? His father's motorbike or what? Nothing doing. It has to be in our center. He cannot take it. Then I called and spoke to him. Then he said, Prabhuji, you are new. Earlier Prabhuji was there. He had given me all the rights. I said, maybe he's kind enough, that's okay, but I'm a different officer. So there is no mercy here. I said, you have to leave it. Anyway, what will I do, Prabhuji? I'm bringing it back. No, you don't trust me? See, what are arguments they will take? I said, it's not a question of trust, it's a question of system. It's a question of system. You cannot take the organization assets to your home. No governmental law permits that. No company law permits that. So then he said, no. I'm going to take to my home every day. But I will bring it back. I said, nothing doing. He also said, nothing doing, Prabhuji. I also said, nothing doing. Wait and watch, I said. Dekh lega Swamiji, Prabhuji, he said. So And a week passed. I was just waiting. It's called cooling period. What's called as cooling period. So I gave a warning to him. I gave him cooling period to see whether he will change. No changes. Then I just straight went to the police station and told the officials there. Then immediate that morning I went after the operations, the cooking is over. Then I went to the police station, and just made a short complaint. Simple, verbal, not even written, huh? Just then the police came in mufti, in a civil dress. They came. They didn't come in a police uniform. And then afternoon it was, because he also came back. He was actually a driver. He finished his work. He came back. So then afternoon he came, and then they met me in my office there. Then they said, "Where is this person?" Then they spotted him. He's so and so person. And then they put their hand on this person's shoulder. So, brother, how are you doing? A stranger, for him, he's a stranger. So they say, brother, how are you? He's wondering, which brother? No, I have not seen you. Hey, you don't know me? I'm very close to you. I'm your brother, he said. Two people came actually. He said, no, 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 you are joking with me. I said, no joke, Bhaiya. You're my brother. You're my friend. One more person said, you're my friend. Arey, I don't have a brother, I don't have a friend. What are you talking nonsense? भैया आ जाओ बैठ के बात करेगा थोड़ा कॉफी पी के बात करेगा actually happened, huh? Then they came, there's one more room, then they took him to the room, and then so something they spoke. After they said, okay, let's go to home. So okay, let's go to. Actually, they took him, landed up in the police station. He said, you told home and then you brought me to police station. ये मेरा घर है. The actually he was a police constable, but he was in Mufti, as I said. So he went to the police station. He said, ಇದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಬಾರೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೇನೂ ಇದೆ ಇನ್ನೆಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಬಾರೋ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲ 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 ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಮನೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನನಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನವಶ್ಯ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿರಾ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ so then he called me to the police station then said Swamiji please tell so what's the issue then I just once again said then he said ಇವರು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರು ಮುಟ್ಟಾಳ ಇಷ್ಟು ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆದು ಮೋಟರ್ ಬೈಕು ನಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತೀಯ ದಿನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿನಗೆ and then actually he became very very heavy oh my god I only got little shaken up because I didn't expect that kind of treatment because he is I don't want to discuss some things so many things he told he said last one again once again you touch the institution's motorbike and disturb the Prabhuji they're all studied so much given up everything for for serving the society as you unscrupulous people are disturbing so much and giving so much botheration to them once again if I hear anything finished then he showed some photos actually hung up there so I don't want to go to the details you will be next in that wanted list and there are some more interesting things which he said which I don't want to talk here you'll be finished he said be careful then I just mildly told him see early morning I go for operation because 4:30 Mangalati gets over I used to go immediately after Mangalat because our temple and Akshapatra was about 10 minutes drive so I used to go for the early morning because I had to set up the whole thing initial days from scratch so I have to go early morning see the operations and see everything is happening nicely and properly and all so immediately after Mangalarti I would go for the operations so this early morning it's not daylight so I just mildly told ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ because suppose I'm driving the vehicle he catches me stops me in between and this that then he told anywhere your shadow also falls near Prabhuji you'll be finished not Prabhuji that entire road anywhere your shadow follows you'll be finished be careful he said Swamiji okay you are happy no Hare Krishna so we are thinking nobody is there to take action so, not at all So we have to be careful. So what is our due property? We can enjoy. What is due us? Otherwise not. Ah. There are many such references. So Narada Muni also saying, Tal labhyate dukkavad anyata sukham. The same thing what Prahlad has said. Because after all, Prahlad was instructed by Narada, his guru. So, Tal labhyate dukkavad anyata sukham. As happiness comes to you, suffering also will come to you. 100%. Have faith in the universal law management. Universal law management. Everything will be perfectly meted out. Your due share will come to you. So that's why Isha Upanishad says, Ishavasya sarvam yat kinchi jagatyam jagat. Tena tyaktena bhunjita ma grida kasya svid dhanam. Ma gridha. Don't touch another's property. Therefore, Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Samaloshrashma Kanchan. An advanced yogi considers uh, pebbles, stones, and gold to be same. He doesn't have any value. When Chanakya Panita said, so many references are there. To consider others' property as garbage in the street. In the Bhagavatam, gold, considering as an asset, is considered to be yellow stool. Gold is likened to yellow stool. Exact words I'm using. There's a Sanskrit word also. I don't remember that exactly now. Meaning, where after all these kind of material opulences, even otherwise, Bhagavatam is saying it is yellow stool. And then you usurp somebody's property, assets. What is your position? You will be a pariveta. Hmm? So, so Bhagavatam is saying, Isha Upanishad is saying, everything is the ownership of the Lord. Isha vasimidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. It's not Mysore, it's not Bangalore, it's not Hubli, it's not America, it's not Australia. Jagat. The entirety of the universe is owned by the Lord. The lands, the oceans, the seas, the mountains, the rivers, the plains, the vegetation. How can you claim like that? Whose property it is? Whose money it is? You are claiming. So, you will not be allowed to enjoy, even if you claim or even usurp or by domination or by force. You may do all these kind of, you may deploy all these kind of, you know, non-Vedic ways, but you will not be allowed to enjoy the property if it is not your due. That's very clear. Rather, they have to suffer very badly. We are only caretakers of the assets, opulences, and properties. And even people. Nobody we can claim proprietorship. Neither of lands, nor over people, nor over countries, nor over a company. Anybody. We cannot claim proprietorship rights. The Lord only is the ultimate proprietor. So we have to uh, pay our due. Okay, the Lord has deputed us or a country or a representative on his behalf. We're agents of the Lord. So we work as agents, not as proprietors. Or just like if there is a land or there is a building and you're taking it for rent, you have to pay rent tax. You have to pay rent tax, and you have to pay property tax. Suppose even if you own a property, you're not the ultimate owner. I know how many of the people know this actually. Even if you purchase with money, still you're not the owner. The government is the primary owner. You are only a secondary owner. Hope I know how many of you know this. We are never the ultimate owners actually. The government is always the ultimate owner. That's why the government can anytime take over the property. Otherwise, why are you paying property tax? If it is your property, why are you paying tax for somebody else? You know why? Because the government has a hold on your property. That's why you're paying tax. So but you can use and enjoy the property. No problem. either as an owner or even as a tenant. Either way, actually you're a tenant only. Government is the owner, right? That's a fact. Exactly like that, everything in this world, Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Lord is the actual owner and proprietor. It's called title deed. Mother deed we call. And we fudge it. In this world it happens. And make myself the proprietor. Then it will be litigated. So like that our life will get litigated by usurping all the Lord's properties and the Lord's assets and creations. But you can use them, recognizing the Lord. Just like recognizing the government. How are you recognizing? Yes, yes, I recognize the government. No, no, not in words, Baba. Pay tax. I don't believe you. You have to pay tax. Exactly like that, we have to uh, give a portion of our life, of our sacrifice to the Lord as a recognition of the Lord's proprietorship. Not that He needs, but it is our need. Then we are allowed to enjoy those assets, otherwise not. So, in conclusion, if we follow the Vedic way, then we'll be allowed to enjoy and follow the Lord's laws and do everything as a sacrifice. That's why uh, doing seva to the Lord is very important. A portion of one's income should be given to the Lord. Why? So that you can enjoy the balance. It will not be tainted uh, with illegality. Just like somebody's money is used, how can you use? You cannot use. No, somebody's property, can you go and sit and stay and take your wife and children? Cannot take. So it's very serious. So like that, we cannot enjoy anything of the Lord's creation. So we have to pay a sacrifice. So that's why we have to give something to the Lord. Not that He wants, but it is for our good. We have to give so that we become free from karma and get the rights to enjoy. Just like then they'll give you tenancy rights, they'll give you proprietorship rights, the government, by paying a small tax, a small agreement, because he is the owner after all. Why should he give you? He may not, he may deny also. Just like we want a rent house, he may deny. I'll not give you. I may want to buy this land. The government may say, no, I'll not give you. The owner may say, no, why should I sell this land to you? He may even deny. So Lord may deny. Not that he's denying. I'm just trying to understand the spirit and logic of these statements. It is our due that we should do some seva to the Lord. In that way, be a law-abiding citizen. Similarly, law-abiding devotee. Like that. And then be happy and enjoy it. Otherwise, so I'll stop here. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. I have some announcement. We'll be observing Chaturmasya Vrata from 3rd of July to 27th November. It's a 4-month period. And there is Adhika Masa during Chaturmasya, which is from 18th July to 16th August. So there is a further extension. In that period, we don't observe the Chaturmasa. From 18th July to 16th August. The devotees will not, the devotees will observe fasting from green leafy vegetables during this first month of Chaturmasya. That is 3rd July to 17th July. Then 17th August to 30th August. Means Sopugolu. So green leafy vegetables we should not take we should not prepare any of those things in our food. So we'll have Kirtan in our new upcoming construction site for the pleasure of the Lordships. So we request all of you to kindly come and participate for the Sankirtan. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.